Hi, this video is how to assemble the clarinet, how to hold it, and how to form your mouth to make the sound. To begin with, we're going to start by identifying the parts of the clarinet. Your case, your latches will always open up regardless of the style of the case itself. Your latches will always lift up from the bottom, not down. Make sure that you have it placed upright because the pieces will spill out and make a mess. You might also have a logo or emblem on the top, but this one has it on both sides, so that doesn't help you. But I know that this is up because the latches lift up. So let's start by identifying the pieces first. There's lots of pieces to the clarinet. The bell has the flare, and that's going to go on the bottom. Then you have your lower joint. The lower joint is generally toward the back of the case. It's not always the case, but it has 3 keys toward the bottom that are more spread out, and then this cluster of 4 keys there. Well, the upper joint doesn't have those big keys that are spread out, and it also has this one on the back with a teardrop key right above it. That's the upper joint. Then you have your barrel, which is slightly smaller at the top and a little bit bigger at the bottom. You have the mouthpiece. The metal piece is called the ligature. You might also have a plastic one, but it has screws on it. And most ligatures, the screws are going to go toward the bottom. And then you will need a reed. Generally, when putting the clarinet together, you'd start by taking the reed out and soaking it in your mouth while you're putting the clarinet together. That way the reed's ready to go when it's time to play. For right now, I can't do that and talk, so I'm going to put it to the side. How to put the clarinet together. We're going to start with, of course, the reed would be in the mouth, soaking. I'm going to start with taking the 2 main body parts, the upper joint, and the lower joint. Okay, the lower joint has the metal rim around the top and doesn't have a cork spot up on top, and does on the bottom. Okay, so you got to make sure that that's up toward the top. The upper joint has a cork on both the top and bottom. The way to know the bottom is it's got these set of 4 keys that are toward the bottom, and no keys really right up at the top of this. Now, I'm going to take it with my left hand, and I'm going to turn it so that the bottom is toward my thumb, and that the top is back toward my hand, so that I can twist it together. I'm also going to take my thumb, and I'm going to press down this bottom open round key, which lifts this key right here, because this key can hit this key when you're putting it together. Okay, so I've got this in my left hand. I'm going to take the other piece in my right hand, the top, and I'm going to hold it with my thumb toward the top so that the 2 pieces can go together. Pressing down on this key, but not pressing down over here, because that will lift up this key, which is what we're trying to avoid hitting, is this. So I'm going to then just put the 2 pieces together and lightly twist. And what we're trying to do is get this right here to line up. It's underneath those keys. It's a little hard to see, but that right here needs to line up over top, so that when you press that down here, it moves that. Now, when you're putting this together, be careful that you don't twist it a lot around, because you're going to hit the keys and damage them. Just push it together and just little twists. Get those keys lined up. Okay, that's the main part of it. Then you're going to take the bell, which goes on the bottom. Okay, so look at how the keys are. You've got the 4 keys out to the side. The bell is going to go on the bottom. I'm going to put it on and just lightly push and twist. Little twists. You don't do big twists all the way around. Some people like to put together the barrel and the mouthpiece and then put it on the instrument. That's your choice. How I show is to, move the case out of the way, is to put the barrel on. Again, twist. Now the cork on this is coming apart so that you won't normally have that. Put the barrel on. Okay, and now I'm going to carefully set this down on the case or the chair next to you, which I didn't mention before. Always make sure that the case is on the floor or on a chair. Do not put it together on your lap because it will fall off and you'll damage pieces. Okay, now I'm going to take the mouthpiece and push it down into the barrel. Now the mouthpiece, the direction that it goes, there's an opening on it. The opening needs to go to the back of the clarinet, and it needs to line up with this thumb key that's back here. So let me hold it a little bit closer and try to get to the light. You got the opening, and then you follow it down to the thumb key. Okay, now I'm going to take the reed, which has been soaking in my mouth, and for the point of this, I'm going to take the barrel and the mouthpiece off so I can show you a little bit easier, but you would do this together on the instrument. I'm going to take the reed, which is flat on one side and has round on the other side. You can also see the darker part of it and the lighter part of it. The flat is going to go against the flat of the mouthpiece. So I'm going to press that on there, and I'm going to hold it with my left hand thumb while I take the ligature, which you want to make sure that the screws are loose on it so that you can slide it down. I'm going to very carefully put it down and over this, making sure not to hit the reed. It's very thin at the top and can crack and break, and if it does, then you have to replace it and you have to buy another one for $1.50. Slide that down carefully over the reed. And you want to go down far enough that you can see a little bit of the dark wood above and then some below it. If it's like this, where you can't see any dark above it, it's not in the right spot. You need to push it down further. If you can't push it down, loosen the screws. Keep loosening them, turn them to the left a little bit to loosen the ligature up and slide it down. Okay, now the reed needs to be placed so that you can see a little bit of the black over top. This is too far down. This isn't far enough up. Okay, I'm getting closer, but this is too far because you can't see any black. So I'm going to scoot it down just a little bit, and I'm using my fingers on the side. I'm using my fingers on the side just to keep it still and to guide it, and I'm using my fingers on the bottom to push and move it. I'm going to push it up just a little bit so that I have a little bit of black near the top, and I've got my ligature down so that I have the dark wood. Make sure that the ligature is centered on the wood, meaning that the opening, the screws are pretty much right there in the center. And then turn the screws to the right, just a finger tight. Don't do it super tight. If you over tighten it, you can break the screws, and the screws cost $2 a piece. Get that finger tight. Just double check to make sure that that reed is straight up and down. A little bit of black over the top, the dark and dark. If it's not, then loosen it and readjust it. It's got to be in the right spot so you can get your sound. Then this would obviously be on the clarinet when you are assembling it. Again, that cork is coming off, so that's why it looks a little bit weird. Okay, I'm going to do a second video for how to hold this, since the assembly part took a little bit longer. That way it's easier for you to find that part if that's what you're looking for. So look for the second video for how to hold.